Okay, Professor Rosa, what we got time for today? Is it Islamic practice? Yes. How exciting. Islamic practice. Oh, sit. Good Islamic practice. Well done. All right. Okay. Oh, you can't really see the top bit. There we go. Right. The 5 pillars. So, the 5 pillars is probably the most vital area of Islamic practice, in that it's the 5 most important things that Muslims do to uphold the faith. Why are they called pillars? Well, because pillars hold something up, and the 5 pillars hold up the religion of Islam. In what way do they do that? Well, without them, there'd be no supporting network, and the religion would fall to pieces. It wouldn't have any structure. So, the first of the 5 pillars is Shahada. We'll look at these all in more detail, but as a basic definition, it means the declaration of faith. Declaration of faith, a sentence, a statement that you can make that shows what religion you are, that shows your religion. Salah is your prayers, especially your 5 daily prayers. In fact, particularly the 5 daily prayers are known as Salah. Okay, spelt in the same way as Mohamed Salah, the footballer. Saum is like swam with the W and the A the other way round, okay, and that is fasting, okay? You swam fast, you're fasting because you swam. Saum. S-A-W-M. It is the way that you show the dedication through fasting. Fasting is to not eat food. Zakah. Zakah is giving alms. They might call it giving alms, or they might just call it charity, okay? Giving alms is a more complicated phrase. I'd expect you to be able to use that, but charity is also really common. I'd expect you to be able to use charity much easier. And Hajj is pilgrimage, like we talked about in the Christian section, any sort of religious journey, okay? So, the first of the... not the first of these. This is... Sunni Muslims, all about the 5 pillars. Shia Muslims sort of go for a weird combo thing where they call it the 10 obligatory acts. Obligatory means you're obliged to do it. If you're obliged to do it, that means that you have to do it, okay? Saying that you have to do, you're obligated to do this. So the first 4 are the same as 4 of the 5 pillars. Salah, Saum, Zakah, Hajj. Now, where is Shahada? Okay, Shahada seems to be left off these. Well, Shahada is left off the Shia ones because Shahada is not necessarily an act, it is a belief, because it's a statement that people believe in. So we've got the 10 obligatory acts, and this is all Shia. Sorry, I should have written that down. That is Shia. Shahada is part of Salah, because as part of Salah, they're going to say their Shahada, and so they'd include Shahada as that. Now, if you had to name any of the 10 obligatory acts, just name Salah and Saum, okay, or Zakah and Hajj. Any of those ones are fine, and if it's a 2-mark question to name 2 of the obligatory acts, just pick those ones. Other ones you can pick that we're going to talk about more is Jihad and Khums. Now, Khums and Zakah are incredibly linked, so we'll talk about that more when we get to charity. And then we've got 2 more ones, okay? Amir bil Maruf, which just in like clear terms just means be good, okay? And Nahi anil munkar, which is like make sure you're good, make sure others are good, promoting goodness. And Tawala and Tabara, basically love Allah and stop other people who don't love Allah, and make them love Allah, like stop those who oppose Allah. These 4, I don't suspect you'll need in any exam bit, okay? But just so you've seen the words, just in case, okay? Amir bil Maruf, okay? Nahi anil munkar, Tawala, Tabara. Any of those come up, they are obligatory acts. Obligatory acts. Okay, they're not 5 pillars of Islam, they're obligatory acts, okay? Those 2 meaning basically be good, help others be good, love Allah, stop those who don't love Allah. That is your basics there, okay? And, obviously you want to be having this in a bit more detail on this, but for a brief whistle-stop tour through it, that's the best that we can do. Now, Shahada, okay? What is the Shahada? Well, the Shahada is the statement that's the heart of all faith in Islam, okay? It is the most important statement that they can believe in. There is one God who is Allah and Muhammad is his messenger, okay? There's one God who is Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. You'll occasionally see different translations of this, but that is the basics of it, okay? One God who is Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. There is no God but God and Muhammad is his prophet. Anything like that is the Shahada. It should be, in the perfect world, the first thing all Muslims hear. So the very first thing they hear as they are born should be the Shahada. It should be whispered into the baby's right ear by the father or male relative. It should also be the last thing Muslims hear. As you die, someone should whisper the Shahada to you. It should bookmark your life. Your life should begin and end with this statement showing that Allah has been there from the beginning and to the end. Allah is ever present in your life. You are here on earth because of Allah. You die because of Allah, but your whole life was dedicated to Him. That is the idea behind it. It's an expression of faith. So some people will say it at like important occasions. So you're going to take a penalty in a football match and you're Mohamed Salah, you will probably say the Shahada. You'll probably whisper the Shahada beforehand as sort of a blessing, a good luck upon it. Sunni Muslims, it's the first of the 5 pillars. That's all we need to know about them. It's incredibly important. And it's exactly as it's written there. This is the Sunni Muslim version. However, Shia Muslims add in an extra line on it. Shia Muslims add Ali into it because as we talk more about Ali and Shia Islam, he is the most important figure who is unique to Shia Islam. So you got Muhammad is obviously the most important to both of them, but Ali, being the friend of Allah, is incredibly important to Shia Muslims. So Shia Muslims add Ali to the Shahada, which is a massive move actually. It's really important. It goes, there is one God who is Allah, and Muhammad is messenger, and Ali is the friend of Allah, okay, which is a wali, I believe, which is like a friend of Allah. This is incredibly important because it shows the esteem with which Ali is held. He is not considered just like the next leader of the religion. He is named in the Shahada. What does a friend of Allah mean? Well, he's less than a prophet, but still special, okay? They believe that he was communicated to by Allah, and so therefore he is special, if not on the same level as a prophet, okay? So Ali is that next level down, the friend of Allah, okay? Important distinction with the Shahada. A potential question that could come up could be a 5-mark question of explaining 2 different interpretations of the Shahada, or explaining 2 contrasting interpretations of Shahada, either for 4 or 5 marks. Sunni version, Shia version, that would be how that you explain that. That's the only way I would really approach that question. Salah, okay? Salah is prayer, all right? So let's go through the stages of prayer first of all. You're living in a Muslim country, let's say we're in Turkey, and we're in a very Muslim area. We would first of all probably hear the Adhan. The Adhan is the call to prayer, okay? The call to prayer is done by a person called a muezzin. In traditional Islam, he climbs the tower outside a mosque, which is known as a minaret, and he says a call to prayer, starting with the words in Arabic, come to prayer, come to success, prayer is great, I believe. And these words are sort of sung in terms of, there's no music behind them, but they're sort of read as sort of lyrical poetry, but a loud sort of singing voice to the people in the town, so they know to come to prayer at the time of prayer. Nowadays, it can be a recording and it can be put through speakers. Traditionally, it was literally a man up a tower having a shout. Stage 2, you've got to mosque, you take off your shoes and you go and perform wudu, okay, W-U-D-U. Occasionally you see it as wuzu, W-U-Z-U. Both spellings mean the same thing. It is a ceremonial wash before you pray. You're about to interact with Allah in the most basic form. You're about to try and communicate your message to Allah. So in that, you make sure you are clean. You take your shoes off so you are not dirty from the outside world on your feet. You're entering the mosque, so you do not walk mud into the mosque, especially a Sunni mosque, which will be definitely carpeted with sort of prayer mats, almost certainly, or a carpet. And you will wash. You will form this wash where you wash your face, your arms, your hands, your feet, your ankles, the top of your head, the back of your neck, 3 times each in sort of a ceremony to show that you are clean and cleansed and ready to pray. What do you do if you're not living living somewhere where there's not that much water, say the Middle East? Well, you can reenact it with sand as a sign of your subjugation, a sign of trying to be clean. It's not necessarily about being physically clean, but about showing that you're ready for prayer. There are sort of like funny little bits to it, like if you fart after this, some Muslims believe that you should go back and wash again. Some Muslims, lots of Muslims would say that if you have a dirty thought at this point, then you should turn around. This is one of the reasons that men and women are separated, to stop impure thoughts and distracting thoughts entering your head. You do not want to be praying with someone bending over in front of you if you're sexually attracted to them, because you will become distracted and you will have to go and perform wudu again because you've had an impure thought. You are going to purify yourself with the water, symbolically at least. Stage 3, you face the mihrab. The mihrab is a notch, a sort of a hole carved in the wall, essentially, a gap in the wall, a niche or a notch they often call it. And this is in the Qibla wall. The Qibla wall is the wall that faces towards Mecca. What the mihrab does is make sure that every Muslim is facing the correct direction in the mosque. Every Muslim is facing the right direction. How else, if you're not praying with other people, you can just put up a compass, which is a Qibla compass, which will point you in the right direction. There are even prayer mats now that come with a built-in compass, so you can point it towards Mecca no matter where you are. Stage 4, you perform the rakaz, kneel and prostrate while reciting the words in Arabic. You are kneeling before Allah. You are kneeling and putting your head to the floor to show that you are not worthy and He is above you. Okay, the power of Allah is so great that you must be on your knees with your head to the floor. Nice quotes about this. Prostrate and draw near to Allah. Prostrate literally means sort of with your head to the floor. Prostrate and draw near to Allah. And this quote, I've just taken a fragment because it's easy to remember. But if they knew the importance of Isha and Farir, they would come even if they had to crawl. Basically, if they knew the importance of these prayers, they would come even if they had to crawl. Meaning they would come to prayer even if they had to come on hands and knees. Why is this important? Well, because it shows how important prayer is. We could drop that quote into any 5-mark answer or 12-mark answer to show the importance of prayer. Shia Muslims combine two of the afternoon prayers, so they pray 3 times. They have 3 sessions of prayer over the day. You could explain this as being a difference between the faiths. However, Shia Muslims will say, hang on a minute, on these occasions when we do our 3 prayers, the ones which we combined, we actually double up. So Shia Muslims would argue they also do their 5 prayers just in 3 sessions. That's a nice thing to discuss. That could be your evaluation, okay? What's an argument that Shia Muslims are different? Well, they combine the prayers to do 3 prayers. However, a weakness of this argument is they actually do double the amount of prayers on these occasions. So you could see that as being 5 prayers a day. It's a nice way of sort of taking apart your own argument. They also place a head on a block of clay or a brick or a piece of wood. This is as a symbol that Muhammad placed his head directly on the ground. So the clay represents the earth that Muhammad put his head upon. He put his head upon the ground and not upon the floor of a building or the floor or on a carpet. So they will carry around often a piece of stone or a brick or this piece of wood and place their forehead upon that. Juma Prayers. Okay, Juma Prayers came up last year. Now, if it was going to come up again, it would be very tough of them, but it's the Friday prayer. Most important day of prayer is a Friday, and it's particularly important to men. Men are told to gather at the mosque. You could say that this shows part of the gender inequality within Islam. It brings the community together because everyone is meant to pray simultaneously at this moment as one group. So sorry, one of the rabbits had got stuck. That one. What are you doing, rabbit? You got stuck, didn't you? Stupid rabbit. Right. Oh, now he's trying. You can't come out. You have to stay in there. That's your house. That rabbit's being good. Why aren't you being good? Yeah, that's a fat rabbit. Stupid fat rabbit. If you fall out of there, that's your fault. Yeah, exactly. Right. It brings the community together. Juma prayer is the most important day of prayer, day of prayer on a Friday. Like Sunday is for Christians, Friday is for Muslims, okay? Juma prayers. Saum. Okay, Saum is fasting. Fasting, once again, is to not eat food. For Muslims, this is done during the month of Ramadan, a month of the Islamic calendar. Don't forget, the Islamic calendar is lunar. It follows the moon, and therefore Ramadan actually moves throughout the year. It gets 10 days earlier each year, meaning it is never at the same time of year. Muslims fast during the daylight hours, okay? The daylight hours. So while the sun is up, Muslims fast. They do not eat or drink anything during this time. All right. I said that already. Ramadan is a month when the Prophet received the Quran. So Ramadan is considered a holy month. It is also during this month that many Muslims choose to pay their zakah, which we'll talk about another time. But Ramadan is this incredibly important month. The only people who are not expected to perform Saum are pregnant ladies, children, the elderly and the sick. This is because it would affect their health. let's say you get sick but only for a few days during Ramadan, what do? Well, you can always make those hours up again at the end, all right? So it's not this thing where you can't miss a day. You just make up the days at the end. Footballers often miss a day for matches, and then we'll just catch that day up later on in Ramadan. A nice quote for this one. "O you who believe, fasting is prescribed to you." Prescribed as in medicine is prescribed, fasting is prescribed to them. It is given to them from a power above them. They are told they must do it from a power above them. "O you who believe, fasting is prescribed to you." Why is this idea important? Well, this idea is important because it shows that we must do this thing. It is here for us. And don't forget, the Prophet Muhammad fasted before the night of power, so you can drop this in there. It replicates the fasting of Muhammad, who fasted before the night of power. I forgot the E off the word before. That is bad. That is a simple spelling. Before, right? So it replicates that. The night of power is in Ramadan, and we are replicating what Muhammad did by fasting. However, it also shows mind over matter, our dedication and commitment to God. We are doing something difficult. We are giving something up to show our love and respect for Allah and to show our dedication to our religion. And it lets us understand, I don't know why I've done an apostrophe on that word. It doesn't need an apostrophe. It lets us understand those who may not have enough food and are hungry. So those who are going to sleep hungry every night, we will go hungry for a night. We will not eat enough, and therefore we'll understand you. This also links in with zakah, which is the month. Zakah is often paid in Ramadan because it shows, this is a month when I'll be hungry, so I understand what other people are going through. And I think that's probably the end of this one. There's Sally Spiderhead. She's got a spider for her head. She's wearing a lovely dress, and someone's replaced their legs with a rocket.